So happy new year. It's 2025. I keep thinking I need to make a post or go live. I haven't gone live on anything in so long. And I have stuff that I can say. I'm not sitting down and pre-planning it or anything. But it just feels like, I don't know. So I say happy new year. For those of you that follow my content or listen to read my newsletter, listen to me on YouTube, I appreciate you. I am going to take some time to step back just to make sure I'm doing what God is calling me to do and leading me to do. So that doesn't mean nothing else won't come out, but there isn't anything that I'm planning or guaranteeing to roll out from my newsletter to videos. YouTube has always been kind of random. But what's on my heart, it kind of is just focus on God, where he's calling me and what he's calling me to do. But I felt a need to kind of say that or explain that to whoever is paying me some attention. And so I even didn't want to say that just because that sounds kind of arrogant. I don't have a huge following or anything. And like anybody else, I question, am I really supposed to do this? Is anybody really listening to me? And, with humility, I know that I encourage people sometimes. I never really tried to, but over my life, it just happens. People feel encouraged by things I say. And so I've come to realize that God has called me into that space with that gifting to encourage others. So I don't take it lightly now that I pursue Jesus and pursue living the way he called me to live and following him. Y'all love when my coffee work out. Neither here nor there. So, as I was saying, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but what I've learned is God confirms. And so I'll have these moments nobody's paying attention to this. I don't need to do this because to my nature, I like consistent plan and continually doing something. It doesn't really keep me engaged or motivated if it's sporadic. But my pursuit of putting things out sometimes have been very sporadic. Like the newsletter, I committed to being intentional and consistent about it. But when it comes to YouTube, I just don't want to be on there saying what I want to say. And I can't say that sometimes, you get passionate about something and you put it out there and it might not have been from God. But for the most part, I feel like the things I put out now, God is leading me to. And somehow kind of miss because it's are you not? And then I forget about it and life moves. But I say all that to say that I'll have these moments nobody's listening to these videos. I shouldn't do this newsletter anymore. Or no one pays attention to what I'm saying. So maybe God's not calling me to do it. And then somebody will respond, just one person. And they'll say something that will keep me going. Well, maybe you are using this, God. Or some people will say oh, when are you going to make another video? Or that really encouraged me. Or they'll respond to the video that they needed that today, or respond to one of my newsletters that I needed today. So we'll see what God's doing. And I really definitely in the past did not we'll see. And God is a God of order. People say that. But God's ways are also not like our ways. And thoughts are above our thoughts. So the way he gets each individual person into submission and surrender to him can be different. So I don't know what's next for me. 2025 is a year of continuing to trust God and put Jesus first and seek him first and seek the kingdom and go where he tells me and do what he tells me to do. That has been my pursuit. So my heart and my New Year's resolutions, plans, words, whatever, is to continue doing that and doing it better. And really one thing that's sticking out to me more and more these last couple of days, and not even praying about a word, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, I just didn't do that this year, is grace and mercy. Is really coming up for me, grace and mercy, and really understanding what that is, and not just receiving it, but giving it with my own children, my husband, other people, We love to give it to ourselves, right? But sometimes we're bad about giving it to ourselves. So grace and mercy has just been ringing in my ears for like the last few weeks. And I don't mean like ringing in my ears, but something that happened or a question that happened. Or I'm going to the Father, or I'm praying about the Father, or I'm judging somebody, criticizing somebody. And grace and mercy is what comes up in my spirit. So I'm going to lean into that and see what God has for me to grow there. But when it comes to the internet, I'm not one of these people. The internet has ruined society, but it has. But it also has helped society. But I had this really moment this year where it's like, I'm going to pull back for a month, and I did. But before I pulled back, I was like, well, how are people going to know about this, that, these, and those, and like updates on my family? I'm like, well, why do I have to give updates on my family on the internet? I don't. I think I've mentioned that in the video before. So I want to get out of that weird relationship where I feel like I owe the internet anything or an explanation. And I want to just enjoy being present in life a little bit more. So at this point, still not making any declarations or this or that, these are those, but 40 is coming, and I really want to hear from the Lord of what he's telling me to focus on and what he's telling me to do in my life. So that's about me. But I always try to encourage you. One thing I've learned to this point in my life is life is gonna life. And there's gonna be good times. There's gonna be great years. And then there's gonna be challenging years, challenging days, month. I am moving away from the fact of being like, oh, this was a horrible year, or this was the best year of my life. And that can very well be said. The year I got married was an amazing year. I'm sure there was plenty of challenges around that year, but the wedding stood out more than others. If you're a person that experienced multiple deaths this year, this could feel like the worst year of your life. But where I look to the Lord, I just let it be. Let whatever it is be, because nothing is all consuming but God. And where it may take a little bit longer to get back to your happy space, or get out of the valleys or the challenges, I think it's less up and down to think about having a high all the time. I think it's good to expect that challenges will come, and we're going to thank God and be grateful when we have less challenges in a year. But if you're a follower of Christ, suffering is a part of the fruit of the Spirit. Suffering is a part of the walk. And myself being whoever I am, I kind of know who I am, without going into a long explanation, I think the not having the goods or the celebrations or the accolades or too many challenges would get me down. And now I feel more stable in life. Like, I take it as it comes. I'm human. I cry. I have emotions. I have response like anybody else. But I think maturity is realizing that life will go up and down. There will be challenges. There will be celebrations. There will be mourning. There will be rejoicing. But the key is to look to God to get you through it and have appreciation for it all. And so my prayer for you is not to be taken to and fro by what's happening in your life, but to be steady and grounded with the anchor of Jesus. Happy 2025. Y'all have a great year.